What's up, everybody? The Ones Who Live continued its hot streak with episode 3 tonight. There will, of course, be spoilers here in my breakdown, so make sure you've seen the episode before you continue. Now, let's get into that episode. Let's hit the story first, then I'll get into my thoughts on the episode after that. Episode 3 opened with a flashback to Rick's early days in the CRM as Rick explores the city during his first visit. Jadis is waiting for him there, and we get a bit of a backstory on how the CRM came to be working with the garbage people back in the main show and learn she's pretty much where she is in the organization or group, community, whatever you want to call it, because she handed Rick over. Then we get another flashback that's really just, an hour or two before the present day in the show, as we see Rick pleading with Pearl Thorne, and she manages to put in a good word and help get Michonne admitted pretty much in the dark. She doesn't know that this is Michonne. She doesn't know why Rick is doing this. She just thinks that Rick says he wants to bring her in to what Okafor is building. Then, in the present, we continue the scene that ended episode 2 as Jadis threatens Rick, now knowing he is capable of finally escaping because Rick and Michonne, they can do anything together. After that, we get Okafor's funeral, which leads to Thorne opening up a bit more to Rick, telling him and us about how Okafor recruited her, and even when she shot at him, grazed his head, had his blood dripping from his gun, he still didn't kill her. Later on, Rick hatches his plan to seemingly get he and Michonne out of there and back to the kids, but as that unfolds, we learn Rick's not going because obviously he knows Jadis is a serious threat to both him, Michonne, and their family back in Virginia. As a result, Michonne turns back too, and we see her back at the Walker Wall the next day, where Rick is pretty pissed, but so is she, and she doesn't even say a word to him when they sneak off to talk. But this scene, oh my god, it was so great. Denai proves once again she doesn't even need a speaking line to steal a scene. But back to the show, Thorne decides to bring Michonne into the CRM with her and Rick, and kind of, their inner circle that was formed by Okafor before his death, and she's going to join them on their mission. On that mission, Rick and Michonne disobey orders, and Thorne has her in her sights before Rick steps in, which leads to her ordering Rick to take Michonne back to camp, and she never wants to see her again. With all of that, and Michonne seeing Jadis for the first time since being there, Rick tells her everything they had is broken, and she needs to go on so that on her way back to Judith and RJ and everybody else. But Michonne, taken aback, opens the chopper door on their way back and rips Rick out with her down the episode. Alright, usually I'd be moving on to the things I didn't like about the episode here, which has been few and far between with this show, and for episode 3, I've got nothing. So we're going right into the pros of this episode. I absolutely love Leslie Ann Brandt's performance as Pearl Thorne. It certainly helps that it's a very interesting character, at least to me, especially now being put side by side with Okafor in a way, but she's really elevating that to a whole other level with her brilliant performance. Then there's Pollyanna McIntosh as Jadis, or the garbage lady, but whatever you want to call her, however you know her, and she's just picking up right where she left off, much like Denai and Andy have, being absolutely fantastic. Well, Jadis was, pretty funny. She could be comedic in the main show and showed her threatening sides from time to time for sure. Pollyanna is doing a phenomenal job in this show so far, really sticking to the darker side of Jadis, and I just love it. But the show does not work without Andy and Denis as Rick and Michonne being amazing. The story they've crafted here is so intriguing with their performances behind it, and I just can't wait to see what happens now that Michonne is really, kind of forcing Rick's hand. And so that'll do it for my breakdown of episode 3. Another strong episode as these spin off shows just continue to simply be great. But let me know what you thought about this episode down in the comments below, and make sure you have a great day.